Hey, what is up everybody? It's Animac here for AnimeUproar, and today I will be talking about the latest, absolutely historic events in the Boku no Hero story. This is it. This is the watershed moment that absolutely changes the story. Things will never be the same again. From now on, this series is going to have a distinctly darker tone. And Shigaraki in particular has just become a completely different person. He has just been referred to as a transcendent, superhuman being, a plus ultra villain, and already the casualties are mounting, including top tier pro heroes. Seriously, this is a historic moment in the Boku no Hero story, so let's get into it. If you enjoyed the Boku no Hero content on the channel and you want to see more, please leave a like to let me know, it really does help. And if you happen to be new to AnimeUproar or you just haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell to turn on all notifications. You really have to go through the trouble of clicking that bell and then selecting the option that says all. If you don't do that, you're still gonna miss a lot of our videos even if you're subscribed. It's just how YouTube works. You can also hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. Finally, this video will, of course, contain Boku no Hero manga spoilers. We're talking about the very latest groundbreaking events in the story. So with that in mind, please proceed with caution. You have been warned. Back in chapter 270, we saw that Shigaraki was indeed awakening. But in chapter 272, the very first panel confirms that Shigaraki's eyes are open. Immediately after that first panel, the chapter quickly shifts to the area around the hospital, where the heroes and hero students are evacuating civilians just in case the battle against the villains at Jakku Hospital ends up spilling over to the rest of the city. And boy, that sure was the right call, because things would get absolutely crazy really quickly, as we found out later in this chapter. Burnin is coordinating the evacuation efforts, and the hero students, including our friends from Class 1A, are doing their best to evacuate everyone, to give extra help to those who may need it, and so on. Most of the characters that we see here are well known to us, like the Class 1A students and Nejire, although there are one or two heroes that I didn't recognize. One really cool touch that I saw in this scene was the fact that the heroes were even able to evacuate everyone's pets and the other animals in the area thanks to Koda's quirk and a voice. Finally, our boy Koda is actually being useful. No offense to him, but his quirk definitely isn't suited for every situation. It is very specific. Everything seems to be going well until that moment from the end of chapter 270. The moment in which Deku stops in his tracks, his expression changes completely, and he says the words, "He's coming." At first, the other students have no idea what Deku is talking about, but Deku is hearing a voice inside his head that is telling him that he has to stop Shigaraki. The voice appears to be coming from One for All itself, and Deku interprets it as being the voice of the very first One for All user, the brother of All for One. And man, it sure is crazy how much the original One for All user looks like Shigaraki. We've talked about this before, pretty much everyone has talked about it by now, but come on, this can't be just a coincidence. According to the voice inside Deku's head, an unbelievable power has just been freed from its human shackles. Shigaraki has become a transcendent being, a superhuman being, and he is coming. The awakened Shigaraki just underwent a procedure that allowed him to surpass his former limitations and to inherit All for One on top of his already OP awakened quirk, Decay. And speaking of Shigaraki, on the very next page we see that he is sitting up. Poor Xless turns suddenly and Shigaraki just casually says that he is cold. In the next moment, the whole world changes. As Present Mike is carrying Ujiko, and as the heroes are fighting the various different Nomu, everyone suddenly realizes that the entire building is beginning to disintegrate. And this disintegration is coming from the very place that Shigaraki had been located. Everyone runs for their lives. Gran Torino grabs Ujiko and Present Mike and they blast off just as the entire lab disintegrates. And everything is destroyed, including all those canisters containing copies of quirks that Ujiko was using in order to create the Nomu and give them powers. Gran Torino quickly realizes that Shigaraki's quirk Decay is what's destroying the building, but unlike before when he needed to touch something directly in order to decay it, the decay is now spreading like crazy to everything in the building. Gran Torino urges all the heroes to get out of there right now and to be careful not to touch any surface that is already decaying. So all the heroes make a run for it, but one of the Nomu manages to grab Aizawa's leg. The shield hero Crust uses one of his shields to cut the Nomu's arm and save Aizawa. But just as he saves Aizawa, Crust is completely disintegrated, much to Aizawa's shock. A lot of the heroes do manage to make it out, including Ryukyu, Aizawa, Present Mike, Gran Torino, and thankfully, Endeavor grabs my girl Miruko and manages to bring her outside as well. I am of course extremely relieved that Miruko appears to have been saved. Miruko is life, but I do feel kind of bad for Crust. In my previous videos, I kept saying that as long as Miruko is safe, I would totally be okay if some other heroes like Crust had to go. And now, that is exactly what happened. Xless and Crust are gone, killed by Shigaraki. Xless probably didn't even see it coming, and to his eternal credit, Crust went out like a true hero. He saved a fellow hero and was brave and heroic until the very end. But make no mistake, other heroes have also been killed during this whole thing, both inside the hospital and outside as the decay continues to spread. Although to be honest, we still have no idea of what the full death toll is going to look like when all of this is over. However, we do see that the laundry hero Washu is in the direct vicinity of the decay, and then we see other heroes being disintegrated in that same area. So it appears that Washu may also have been killed. Bro, during these tough times, Washu is exactly the type of hygienic hero that we need. It would honestly really suck if we lost such a memeable character before we even saw his full potential in action. As the decay spreads beyond the hospital and into the streets, Pixie Bob of the Wild Wild Pussycats uses her quirk Earth Flow to throw a bunch of earth at the decay in order to stop it from spreading. And this does appear to be somewhat effective from what I can tell. Although I have to say right now that this chapter does not confirm whether Pixie Bob was able to actually stop the decay or whether she was killed in the process. The chapter just keeps shifting from one place to another so quickly that we don't get to see what happens to all the heroes caught up in the carnage. But I think there is some hope that Pixie Bob and the other pussycats survived. We know that Shigaraki's quirk is not very effective on small morsels like sand, so maybe this earth that Pixie Bob threw up at the decay really was able to stop the destruction in this area. Or maybe she was able to split the earth in a way that stopped the decay from spreading further. I certainly hope that Pixie Bob survived. She is yet another brave and beautiful pro-hero waifu in the Boku no Hero story. But so much is happening in this chapter so quickly, and we just don't know the full extent of the damage that Shigaraki has managed to cause. For his part, Ujiko is amazed by what is happening. He believes that this is the moment they've all been waiting for, the victory for the villains. And of course, he is amazed that Shigaraki was able to withstand so much suffering and awaken against all odds. Shigaraki has become a new, superhuman villain. A villain whose physical limitations have been removed. A plus ultra Shigaraki. It is truly ironic how the heroes and hero students are always talking about going beyond, going plus ultra. And All Might and Deku especially are all about surpassing your limits in the name of being a hero, doing the impossible in order to help others, and embodying the plus ultra life. And yet, Shigaraki has now become the plus ultra villain. Shigaraki has become the anti-Deku. The shonen protagonist, but for the villains. He is the hero of My Villain Academia, and this is something that Horikoshi has been establishing for a while. Shigaraki and All for One really are the evil counterparts to Deku and All Might in so many ways. For much of the series, Deku has been surpassing his limits and tapping into One For All's overpowered abilities in just the right moment. This has been happening so long that I was honestly worried that Deku would become too strong too quickly. I mean, he is still only in the first year of high school, and if Deku does become too overpowered and too broken, who could possibly challenge him? Well, what I didn't anticipate is that Shigaraki would also gain overpowered protagonist powers, except he is going to use them for evil. Shigaraki, as he is right now, is more than a challenge for Deku, even at his most broken and overpowered. And that, I have to say, is truly impressive on the part of Horikoshi, and the story is about to get even more crazy from here. So, as half of the freaking city crumbles, Ujiko rejoices because everything that the heroes have been building up to this point will now be destroyed with a single touch. When he says this, Ujiko isn't just referring to the buildings that are being destroyed. He is referring to the hero society as a whole, including the concept of pro-heroes itself. And of course, he is talking about the sense of security that the general population has enjoyed for all of these years as a result of the pro-hero system. This is truly a paradigm shift. The events of this chapter won't just shift the balance of power between the villains and heroes. They will also shift the very mentality of the people who live within the hero society. The people will now learn that the heroes cannot protect them, not anymore, and panic and chaos will surely ensue. Realizing what's happening, Deku rushes into the thick of it and prepares a 45% St. Louis Smash Air Force. As he does this, he tells everyone else to get away, and that is how this unbelievable, unprecedented, and historic chapter ends. Deku is going all out. 45% is no joke, and I believe that he is trying to blow the decay back or cut it off in its tracks by creating a sharp blast of compressed air. But can he really stop the decay for long? Can he possibly stop the decay from spreading in all the different directions that it is currently spreading in? For maybe the first time in the story, I think that even Deku may not be able to get the heroes out of this one, and that is saying a lot. Oh, and now might be a good time to mention that Shigaraki appears to have done all of this, i.e. destroyed half the freaking city, with just a single touch of one of his hands. This is an insane level of power. It is completely game-changing and things will never be the same again. As I said earlier, at the end of this chapter, we are not sure what exactly happened to all of the characters, including notably the high-end Nomu. We can assume that the Nomu that tried to grab Aizawa was destroyed, but what about the other ones, including the female Nomu? We could assume that they were all destroyed along with everything else in the hospital, but I'm not going to believe that unless we actually see it happen with our own eyes. These high-end Nomu have insane regeneration quirks, so I wouldn't be surprised if some of them made it out. In the case of the female Nomu in particular, I think that there is still more to her story, so I am not writing her off just yet. All in all, we knew that this was coming. We knew that it was about to happen, and yet seeing it happen like this is still absolutely unreal. My main takeaways from this are, oh man, am I glad that Miruko was saved by Endeavor, and oh man, Shigaraki is an absolute monster. Multiple heroes are dead, including some top tier heroes. Crust was the number 6 pro hero, and he is gone. Wash is the number 8 pro hero, and he might also be gone. And who knows how many lesser known heroes also perished within the span of just a few minutes. There is no going back from this. Deku and the other pro heroes will not be able to just move on. The wider hero society will also not be able to move on from this disaster. What we just witnessed was a hero massacre, and it's probably only the beginning. Deku, Aizawa, and everyone else will never be the same again from a psychological perspective, and this series just became a whole lot darker. I think it's safe to say that this is shaping up to be the best and most impactful arc in the entire series. The balance of power has shifted, and the psychology of the heroes and the hero students is bound to also shift. Not to mention the psychology of the general population as a whole. Forget the symbol of peace, because there is no more peace. Forget any sense of security, because no one is safe anymore. Up until this point in the story, Horikoshi had created a fascinating hero society, and now he has turned it on its head. He has just destroyed the hero society as we knew it, and something new and completely different will have to be created in its place. And I honestly can't wait to see what happens next, because now the possibilities are endless. There is no more neutral gear, there is no more status quo. Everything we thought we knew about this hero world just disintegrated before our eyes. All I have to say is whoa and wow. Please let me know what you guys think. Are you as shocked and amazed as I am after the events of this chapter? Who do you think actually survived Shigaraki's decay, and who do you think lost their lives? Also, does Deku stand any chance whatsoever in defeating Shigaraki now? And if so, what can he possibly do? Oh, and I just realized that I didn't even talk about Gigantomachia, who is also about to let loose on the heroes back at the villain mansion. Man, the story of Boku no Hero has never been so intense, and I absolutely love it. Although at the same time, I am a bit scared about which characters we might lose next. If you enjoyed this video and you want us to keep it going, please leave a like to let me know. And if you happen to be new to AnimeUproar or you just haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell to turn on all notifications. Feel free to hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. I want to give a big thank you to all of our AnimeUproar patrons who make videos like this one possible. A very special thank you to Efren A, a disciple of Lord Twigo himself. And I can't forget our The One tier patrons, the ones who rise above all other clans, including Ingrata, Alolan Atom, The World, Steelers, Tyson Quirino, A Quiet Respect, Pate Hefa, Jonathan King, Desi D, Brandon Aviles, Papa Smurf, Emperor Otaku, and Richie Martinez. Finally, thank you also to all our Pro Hero tier patrons, including the one and only Gilgamesh, Nothing But a Fan, Jason Wilson, King Zeldris, Anatoly Kazatsky, Angel Cruz, iSparky65, Cricket XP, Ted No Ted, Joe Stanton, Very Gucci, Alicia Octor, Anamole69, Jessica Calafond, Hinokami and Water, Bonnie Parks, Zodiar12, Rathuin Deora, Emperor, Mitch Loves Anime, Cynical, Kraken, and JCC Waka. If you enjoy our videos and you feel that they provide value for you, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Even a single dollar will give you access to our patron exclusive Discord, and your name will appear in our videos along with these legendary people. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys.